Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akim. First and foremost, I want to say all praises, honor, and glory. Kal halayim la Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who rule well, who I learned this truth from. And salutations and blessings to you elect. All right, starting with the 144,000. So I just got done listening to the apostles' street ministry. Right at the end, the last 15 minutes or so, they were going into, you know, feeling this truth, feeling the scriptures, you know, the living waters, man. All right, pretty much. If you're in this truth, you can't be a parrot, man. You can't just follow blindly, right? The scriptures say, 1 John 4:1, to try the spirit. And starting with the apostles on down, our teachers, they've taught us to double check, you know, to prove everything. The scriptures say, prove all things, you know. And you really got to feel this thing, man. You really have to feel the vibration, the energy of this truth. It's quite an experience, man. You know, it really lives you up, quickens you. Right? This truth really quickens you, makes you of quick understanding. You know, it comforts you, makes you feel good. You know, I mentioned examining yourself, right? Paul said, examine yourselves daily, whether ye be of the faith, right? And that's a very important aspect of this truth. Constantly checking yourself, you know, making sure, are you in the right spirit? You know, are you applying yourself the best that you can? Right? Because we're at the home stretch of this thing. You know, again, the apostles were going into, in the street ministry, in the beginning of their street ministry, they mentioned about kicking it. When you're running, you know, whether it's a sprint or a long distance run, there's a point in the race where you might be, you know, tying with a guy is creeping up on you, and you really got to kick it, even though you're tired. Our bodies are breaking down. You know, we live in this degenerate society. You know, we're getting sprayed in the air every day. We're consuming microplastics. All right, you're catching hell. You know, you're not appreciated in this world, and you're not going to be, and that's fine. Because like I said, the comfort comes from knowing Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Like King David said in the book of Psalms, I believe 73, if I'm not mistaken, about how he envied the wicked. But then he said, I was as a beast before you, I was foolish. Because then I came into the sanctuary of the Lord and I understood their end. I'm roughly paraphrasing, right? And that's this truth, man. This sanctuary, right? In the book of Ezekiel, the Lord said he will have a small sanctuary. That's his men, the 144,000, right? This is like a literal sanctuary, right? The truth is known as also as a secret place. This is that secret place. Even though we're on the highways and byways, everybody can see us. People can comment, you know, talk shit, scoff. But this is a secret. It's a secret in an open place. Because the majority of these people, they're not tuned in to the frequency of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that's a blessing, man. Okay? That's a blessing that you men, you can understand this message right now. You know, you're tuned into the same frequency. But, like I said, this truth, man, there's a lot of aspects to this truth, and I'm just going in the spirit. I don't got my scriptures. I'm driving. You know, it just really on my spirit what the apostles were going into about guys that fell out the truth. You know, you had a guy in our camp, he fell out the truth, Ibar. You know, and then he was a garment maker. He used to make garments for brothers, so he had a good position in the camp. You know, brothers loved him too. I liked him as a brother. He was a good brother, but hey, that dude wasn't in the spirit, man. You know, when when for you older brothers, you remember a thing called GMS homework. You know, we had that thing called GMS homework. Very beautiful experience, very good protocol initiated by the apostles, where, you know, every week we had a reading assignment. Well, actually, we started with tests, I believe, just regular tests, like 20 questions or so. And then after, the apostles said, look, you got to read the book of 1 Samuel. There's going to be a test on that, or assignment on that. You got to read the book of Numbers. You got to read the book of, you know, so forth and so on. And, you know, when I would do I would grade the tests. Right at the end, when we finish everything, I'd grade all the tests right before camp. And, you know, that brother, every week without fail, you know, and I try to deal with him. I try to say, look, brother, we got to study. You know, we'd study. But then again, you can look at him, and he was an older man who already came in the truth as an older man. So that was the case of the new wine into old bottles, because there's always exceptions. There's another brother who came in and he was older already, and the Lord's dealing with him, right? So there's always exceptions to the rule. But nevertheless, that brother Ibar, you know, he wasn't in the spirit, man. And then he tried to come around. You know, we had mercy. Maybe the Lord had mercy on him. That's what we thought. And he kind of came around. He found out where we were, because we left downtown, right? And he tried to come around, and, you know, I salute the brother and everything, but I could see that dude's dead. Like, when I look at him, I'm like, damn, like, he looks dead, bro. And the Lord cursed him, man. He gave him, and this is just a testimony for brothers, man. This is a testimony for Akim about the fear of the Lord, right? The Lord cursed him with I believe it was a Bell palsy, but he had a nerve, you know, that it was inflamed in his face pretty much, and he had a crooked, you know, like a yeah, man, his mouth was all crooked. He had a lisp, and he looked all messed up. And that's pretty much due to, hey, you leave the sanctuary of the Lord, you know, you leave his hedge, man, right? His hedge is not about you anymore. That's a terrifying thing. We live in a world where there's another world, there's a fifth dimension, there's a spirit realm, and there's spirits, demons all over the place, man. So once you leave the sanctuary of the Lord, bro, hey, that's a terrifying thing. You're in the congregation of the dead. So brothers out there, you've been in the truth for 2, 3 years, 5 years, you should be on a level, really, even 1 year, right? Even 1 year, you should have been taking notes, you know? Like, you hear the apostles say that. I heard it on the live today. Brothers, take notes, write down the scriptures that we're bringing out, right? That's what I used to do. That's what the brother Howard, all the brothers that came up, right? We were taking notes. I still got my book from 2007, right? 2008, 2009. I was taking all them notes. Any kind of information I could soak up, I took the notes, man. You know? And this is coming from a brother, man. I didn't finish high school, bro. I wasn't a good student. You couldn't pay me to read. I had ADD, you know? So the Lord works through men, you know? The Lord really works through you. And if he blesses you with that Ruach HaKodesh, that Holy Spirit, you got to take off with it, man. You can't just, like the apostles always say, hands in your pocket Israelites. You can't just, you know, just stand there, you know, okay, yeah, everything he said, I agree. But then when somebody asks you for a breakdown, all you do is parrot it. You're a parrot. You can parrot a breakdown like Revelation 11, verse 1, verse 2, right? Because he wrote it down. But get into it. Actually get into it. Look up the words for yourself, man. You know, that's a tedious thing about GMS. People get offended at that. Oh, you guys look up words. Look at these guys. Look, he looked up the word "and." He looked up the word "food." We know what food means. No, idiot. It can mean something else in the Greek or the Hebrew. We look up every little thing, man. When I go in the scriptures now, I'll go in the KJV, and I'll go in the NLT, and then I'll look up certain words. I'll say, I never looked up this word. Like the word, for example, new, right? The Lord will have a new name in the book of Revelation. Look at that example. Oh, I know the word new. I know what it means. It means new, brand new. No, idiot. All right, I'm talking to IUIC because that's the, you know, they scoff. The word new in the Greek, I slip in my mind the Greek word. I believe it's kainos, if I'm not mistaken, but it pretty much means refreshed, made new, made like new again, but pretty much refreshed. Because the Lord, you know, the Lord, he'll come and, you know, he'll deal with men, he'll sup with men, and then he'll withdraw himself, he'll omit himself. Like in the book of 2nd Ezra 7, right? It mentions after when my son Yahushua shall come, because 2nd Ezra's prophesied about Yahushua coming. He said, my son will be with men, and then he said, all men that live shall perish. Roughly paraphrasing, it's around 2nd Ezra 7 and 28. That's one of my favorite scriptures. I know that scripture. Around 2nd Ezra 7:28, it says, all men shall perish that have life. But then it said, after 7 days, that old silence, meaning men were dead. The Israelites that conquered the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, that went on to become the Anglo-Saxons, the Knights, right? The Franks, the French, okay? The Teutons, the Knights Templar that went into the Crusades and tried to claim the Holy Land. Those men were dead. They didn't have the truth, all right? But then you had a great man, our elder, right, by the name of Abba Bivens. Okay, he was, you know, it started with him and those other great men that came after, right? High Priest Ariyah, you hear the apostles speak about, you know, King Masha, Elder Yaikwab, right? You'll hear about that. And those men were resurrected to life, and they brought us back to the Father, starting with Elijah, if you can receive it, you know. But this thing is very spiritual, man, and it's not to be taken for granted, because this is a blessing, man. This is a gift. To believe, or to be in this truth, you need to believe, man. You need to have faith, and faith is so precious. Yahushua, remember, Yahushua said, look, if he took a mustard seed, I believe he said, if you have as much as this faith, you can move mountains. You know how small a mustard seed is? It's smaller than a grain of rice. You know, so the Lord's saying, yo, you got to build on your faith, man. Then he said, this faith cometh not but by prayer and fasting, I believe. So there's levels to this, man. You know, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, that we can understand this. Because as you see, we're living in the most technologically advanced so-called age. You know, even though this technology, you know, is giving us cancer, messing up our head. But that's the devil, that's the left-hand side. But anyway, we're living in the age of information, Daniel 12. Knowledge shall be increased. But at the same time, people are running to and fro. A lot of people are just running in circles, you know, and they still can't get this truth. But something the Lord tuned in, you know, like that old radio, you're trying to tune it in, you know. It's not 98.3, it's 98.4. It's just that small decibel over, right? You know, like I said, this is a blessing, man. So I'm just going in the spirit, but I don't want to ramble on. But we seen that, man. Guys fall out of the truth, and it's a terrifying thing, man. Some of them try to come around again, or a lot of them just leave. They know, they aid. And they know, man, when they see certain news events. A lot of you guys, you probably took that experimental juice, man. 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. Well, 4 years ago, yeah. All right, a lot of you guys took that fucking beetle juice, man. Okay? You left the truth. The Spirit of the Lord left you, man. And you took that beetle juice. That's a terrifying thing. So when that mark of the beast comes, you're going to take that on the fly. You know? But anyway, I don't want to ramble on. So, Lord's will, you were edified with that. Kal halalim la Yahweh. Bahashem Yahushai. Bahashem Racha HaKurash. Alright, double honors to the apostles, again, of GMS, elders, bishops on down, who I learned this truth from. And shalom to you elect out there. Alright, stay solid. Alright, pray. You You know, we're at the end of this thing, of this man's kingdom. You're seeing all the news, breaking news every day. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to that final countdown, man. That hour of temptation. You know, the mark of the beast. All right, don't let stand fat, hold fast that which thou hast, that no man may take that crown, man. All right, hold this truth fast, man, tight. You know. Anyway, shalom. Kwame Sharala.